Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Thank you for watching. And recently, one of the Republican candidates who is running, Vivek Ramaswamy, was at a small gathering in New Hampshire. And man, this was total classic. And the reason being is, there was one woman there. I don't know what her political affiliations were, you know, if she swings to the right or to the left, but she didn't so much ask a question, but just pretty much put out a statement which hits the nail right on the head. It was just so beautifully and articulately said, and I had to write it down and just read it back for you because I couldn't say it better than she did. When he was accepting questions, and he allowed her to speak, he gave her the courtesy, I'll give him that, but here's exactly what she said. You've expressed some illogical and dangerous positions just about everything under the sun. Just a few years ago, we all saw firsthand the disastrous results when a ruthless capitalist, a scam artist, a showman, and a liar with no public service experience became the President of the United States. Yet here we are again. My fellow New Hampshire residents are being manipulated by showmen and Trump wannabes to win our votes. You may be a millionaire and you may know how to avoid paying taxes by incorporating companies in Bermuda, but let's talk about your lack of job qualifications. You're not qualified to become the principal of my children's school of only 1,000 students. You're not qualified to be the select board of my town with a population of 16,000 people. You are definitely not qualified to run for the highest office in our nation to govern 330 million Americans. Spewing nonsensical, fast-talking, empty words interspread with name-dropping, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. This should not be misconstrued as knowledge. We Americans should stop that rich men who fund their campaigns and manipulate us into thinking that they're smart or savvy are qualified for the presidency to receive the codes to launch nuclear weapons and to become commander-in-chief of our military forces. If we American voters treat the U.S. presidency or vice presidency as an entry-level position, then we the American people are to blame for the destruction of our democratic institutions. I don't know who she was, but all I can say is, ma'am, if you are watching this, bravo. Because that just totally torpedoed Vivek's chance of becoming president. Not that he even had a high chance to begin with, because, you know, I've spoken out against him before. And this very same speech, you could say it to Trump, and that pretty much sums him up in a nutshell. Just another showman, a liar, a con artist, a person who acquired his wealth through unethical means. Same with Vivek. And yet back in 2016, many misinformed, uneducated voters, you know how much he loves the uneducated, if you wonder why, pretty much looked at him and said, oh yeah, he's a billionaire, he's a businessman, he could lead our country. No, the two have nothing to do with each other. And when you get somebody, you know, who puts out claims like only they can solve the problem, when they fast talk, yeah, it sounds animated, it sounds, you know, entertaining to a point, but in the end, the truth be told is they are not qualified to run for president of the United States. I don't even think he should be in any type of office, you know, not governor, not mayor, certainly not the Senate or the House. And look at what we see all with the other GOP candidates. All of them, with the exception of Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson, all raised their hand and said pretty much, yeah, they would support Trump. Vivek said he would be more than happy to pardon Trump. Oh, and by the way, he wants to increase the voting age to 25. Why is that? He wants younger voters, or most voters, to take some kind of exam. You know, like the test to become a citizen of the United States so that they can qualify to vote. I thought voting was a right, not a privilege. But again, that's what these people are. Oops, pardon the background noise and a plane flying over. I don't see anyone in the GOP that is really worth voting for, supporting. I mean, if I had to boil down to choose the lesser of all evils, if it came down to it, I would probably say Chris Christie. You know, some others were talking about it. putting Vivek aside, who to me is a disgrace. Nikki Haley, she sold out. She took a knee to Trump. She's a crumpled piece of leaf who would just blow in whatever political wind happens, direction the political wind happens to take her in. Ron DeSantis, I've spoken about him plenty of times about what a disgrace he is in Florida. He is by all definition a fascist, probably worse than Trump. He shouldn't be president. He shouldn't even be governor, let alone in any public service office. And then you have Tim Scott. Oh, the one black Republican who hasn't figured out that he's chosen to represent a party that is primarily driven by bigotry. And that they're only using him as a tool to say, hey, look, see, we're not racist. We support Tim Scott. He's not going to be president. We don't want him president. You know, they made that stance perfectly clear under Barack Obama. Oh, and then we have Mike Pence. Bootlicking, lowlife, racist bigot, and homophobe. And he is not a person of faith, although he likes to wave the Bible around and say, look, you know, I'm here, you know, because I believe in God. He believes in power. That's all he believes in. Another hypocrite. That's the bottom line. And guess what? You know what? The Democrats aren't perfect. Joe Biden isn't perfect. He's not the one I wanted back in 2020. But it was either him or another 4 years of a con man and a grifter who would, you know, as we saw afterwards, January 6th, try and steal our democracy. Another showman just looking to say, hey, only I can fix the problem. And he's putting out the same ridiculous messaging today. Like with what's going on in Israel, where he says, only I can fix Israel. This never would have happened under, you know, my presidency. Empty platitudes, hollow words that don't amount to anything. It is just there to gaslight and make it about himself. I don't want a president that is about himself. I want a boring president that's going to do his job and serve the American people. You're not going to get that from Vivek. You're not going to get that from Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis. You're not going to get that from Mike Pence. And you're certainly not going to get that from Don the criminal Trump, who has many indictments against him. In addition to being a liar and a criminal, a racist, to say nothing about a rapist, and an insurrectionist. He is a traitor to this country. And anyone that falls in line with him, that's willing to support him, like these presidential candidates, are a disgrace. No, I don't want a showman. I don't want a grifter. I want a smart, intelligent man that's going to do the right thing. And if you only got someone who's the next best thing, may not be adequate, may not be perfect, I'll take him over a showman any day. Because I believe in democracy, and these people don't. If you're willing to support a traitor like Donald Trump, you got no business running for President of the United States. That's a simple fact. This young lady summed it up beautifully. And if you're not paying attention, well then, you know, you're going to keep supporting Donald Trump. You're basically saying you don't support democracy, and I don't take that stance. Not for a second. So, I'm opposed to the fascism. Get out and vote blue, support the right candidates, and do what's right for America. More noise. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really hope you understand.